Let's pray. Most amazing God, thank you for all that you do for us. Thank you for allowing us to come in here today to worship you, to learn more things about you and things that people are doing in ministry, God. You are amazing. For that, you give us your word, that in it we can find instruction, we can find life, we can find freedom. God, I pray that you would have your way in service today. I pray that you would use what you need to use to grab our attention. So when we leave this place, we are not the same as when we came in. God, I want to continue praying for those that are on our prayer list, on our hearts. I pray that you would move in a mighty way and answer those prayers. And I pray that we would accept the answers that are given. God, be with the leaders of our nation. I pray that they would continue or seek you out for guidance and wisdom. Again, thank you for all you do. Thank you for bringing us here together. And I pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Well, good morning. We appreciate being able to be here with you and to give you an update on Cherokee Home for Children. You all have been supporting this work for about 20 years, if my records are correct, and have contributed over $30,000 during that time. So that's very commendable. We appreciate it so much. By the way, my official title is Director of Development. We have an executive director that I'm accountable to, but my primary role is donor relations and fundraising. So I'm glad to be able to be here with you again this morning, and my wife traveling with me. She does frequently. Her name is Josie, and we've been married 36 years this month. We met in the Philippines when I was doing mission work, and well, that's a long story, but we're happy to be with you this morning. Let's get right into it because I have a lot to share with you, to give in terms of update and a basic idea to remind you what we do, or what God does, really, at Cherokee Home. And also I want to be able to show you a brand new documentary video right at the closing part of the presentation. So let's get into it. Just want to remind you that we are committed to serve as a ministry for Churches of Christ to assist families in crisis situations. Our board of directors have a vision to keep our employees and our direction within the Churches of Christ, and they have no plans whatsoever of deviating from that, and they are under the oversight of the Austin Avenue Church in Brownwood, Church of Christ in Brownwood, Texas, and have been there since the late 70s, and I'll say a little bit more about that in just a moment. But we serve kids that are in crisis situations, troubled situations. Very seldom do we have true orphans. You know, we used to be known as an orphanage, but most of our children's homes are not true orphanages anymore. We might call them cultural orphans, but so we get the privilege of helping these kids and their families in these difficult situations. It was 1979 that the home began being under the oversight, as I said, of the Austin Avenue Church in Brownwood, Texas, and all of our board of directors are answerable to the elders there at Austin Avenue Church of Christ. Our mission is to provide children with safe and nurturing Christian homes, and to not only provide their physical needs, but of course their spiritual needs primarily, to guide these children to become not just productive citizens of this world, but hopefully to become productive citizens of the world to come, the kingdom of God. So their spiritual needs are our primary focus once we get their basic needs met. We are licensed to keep children from ages 2 to 18 years old, and most of these kids are privately placed by families or family members. We seldom does our population of state-placed children exceed 1/4 of our total population, okay? We keep our state-placed kids to a minimum. We do not want, we want to minimize government influence in our operation, and I know you can understand why we do that. So at this time, for example, I think we only have one kid that is placed by the state of Texas, if I'm not mistaken. So privately placed children are our primary focus. Our services are free, thanks to congregations and individuals like yourselves. And so that's such a blessing for these families. They call us up and they say, can you help us with our situation? How much will it cost? And we can tell them it won't cost you anything. We don't ask a fee. And they are very, very surprised in most cases that we can do that. So your support is a great blessing to these children and these families who are in these situations. You're helping us to feed and clothe and provide a secure Christian environment, as I said earlier, for these children so that they might see Jesus Christ, not only in the scriptures that we present to them in our classes and services there, and devotionals, but primarily through the lives and the modeling of our Christian house parents and staff there on the campus. So on behalf of these kids and our staff, again, thank you so much for all you've done over the years and for blessing these families through Cherokee Home. Let me just share with you quickly some improvements in the campus. I don't know how many of you have been on the campus in recent years, but there have been several improvements. One is our library with this wonderful computer lab you see there in the background, donated by Dell Computer a couple of years ago. That really helped us during the pandemic for the kids to have classes there on campus. Beautifully renovated, as you can see. This is a multi-purpose facility. Our staff uses this as well for morning devotionals and organizational meetings, birthday parties, and so forth. A great blessing. This is our first cottage built back in 1958, and we've had the privilege of being able to renovate it on the inside and put a new roof on it. We wanted to maintain it because of the fact that it is the first cottage that was built on our campus, and we have turned it into a hospitality suite so that parents that want to come and visit, stay for a weekend or a few days to visit their children, they'll have a place to stay. We have also many youth groups that come during the summer, anywhere from 3 to 5 that come during the summer and do mission work, service projects on our campus. And so they are able to stay in that, and as well as a college group every year in the month of January, the Aggies for Christ. And so we are blessed by their presence, and they were the first group to get to stay in this newly renovated facility back in January of 2020, even though we were having to have our pandemic protocols in place at that time. Paving around our campus is another big improvement that has taken place due to the providing of a grant, a large grant from the Ed Racial Foundation down in Corpus Christi. So that has eliminated so much dust and dangerous potholes on our campus, and make it a lot safer for our children to ride their bikes and their skateboards and so forth. And so we're really proud of that. We're very thankful that our playground area was moved from the back of the older cottages to where the newer cottages are located, and made that more convenient and better able to supervise the kids. And then we've had these beautiful lamps installed around the campus to make sure that it's not too dark when the kids come out of church services, for example, or evening activities, and making their way back to the campus. You can see from this drone shot how nice that looks with the lights on around our oval, and there at the top on either corner are the new cottages there at the back of the campus. And so that's really been a nice addition this year to our campus. We've also had this splash pad. This is a memorial project in honor of former director Danny Dugan, who passed away in 2011 due to an accident on the campus, and his family raised the funds to build this memorial splash pad for the kids. An important addition in recent years is our Cherokee Home Transitional Living Program. You know, a lot of works similar to ours have this basic challenge. It's always been there of how do we address the needs of kids after they age out and leave our care? And how do we prepare them better for the transition into, as we might say, regular life? And so this transitional living program started a couple of years ago to address that need, to provide a service to our young adults that is dedicated to make them as independent as possible so that they can make a successful transition to independent living and adjust to college or the workforce. And so the kids will move, who are seniors, their last year in school, they will move into this transitional cottage, which is headed up by our social services directors, who happen to be a husband and wife team, Israel and Valerie Valdez. And they will live with Israel and Valerie, and they will address their needs for preparing them to transition to college or the workforce. In the case of Damon here, who lived with them, they helped prepare him for marriage, and he lived with them for a little over a year, and eventually developed such a close relationship with them that he informally adopted Israel and Valerie as his parents, because he didn't want to have anything to do with his biological parents anymore. His is an interesting story. He came out of a drug gang in Wichita Falls and came to Cherokee Home and made a complete turnaround, and eventually married his high school sweetheart there right on the campus with Israel doing the ceremony. And so that was part of the motivation for Israel and Valerie to begin this transitional living program, because they saw the benefit of these kids getting more targeted attention in their home. And so they take these kids their senior year and they try to teach them these basic skills so that they can be better prepared for their time out of Cherokee Home. Of course, we don't have time to go through the details on these, but you can imagine what would be involved in teaching them a lot of these basic things that you and I would take for granted, and probably we taught our children as they grew up in our Christian homes. All right, just to remind you also of some major events at Cherokee Home. You have heard of our Cherokee Day, which is our big food drive every first Saturday of May. Of course, the pandemic interfered with a couple of those in recent years, but last year we had this year we had a really good day with a good attendance and raised quite a bit of money. And then we're looking forward to this coming year. We hope that some of you can join us in the first Saturday of May of next year, because it will be our 65th anniversary. All right, so it'll be a big deal, and we'll be sending you information about that, of course, and hope you can join us. Another very important event on campus we just had recently, we call it Man Up. It's a men's fellowship day on a Saturday in the fall. It has taken the place of our annual auction that we had for many, many years. And it's just a great day for men to come together and have a time with their sons or grandsons and enjoying things that men enjoy, and also hearing some inspirational thoughts and messages about men's responsibility as God's leaders in the church, in the family, and in the community. So I have a little video clip to summarize the Man Up event and give you a better idea of what it's all about.
Men, get ready to man up. Cherokee Home's Day Just for the Boys is coming. It will be a day of fun and great fellowship with inspirational messages focused on our God-given role as Christian leaders in the home, the church, and the community. One of the great needs of our society is for fathers to man up and be the men they were intended to be, as good examples and proper role models for their family, and the spiritual mentors and guides for their children that would lead them to become productive, godly adults. Man Up is a day dedicated to bringing attention to that need and to providing some guidance for addressing it. You will hear an inspirational speaker who is not only qualified as an experienced Christian father and leader, but who also can relate to men because of a special gift or talent of interest to men in general. He may have special skills or experience in a sport or outdoor activities such as camping, hunting, or some other skill typically appealing to men. But most of the day is dedicated to fun. You'll have plenty of time during the day to enjoy the vendors and demos provided by men of various backgrounds and skill levels. Some might display products from their businesses, while others will show off their hobby or special talent. To add to the fun, we will also have a silent auction featuring items that will surely catch your interest. And to top it all off, there will be a great barbecue lunch, and that is on us. So get your buddies, brothers, dads, sons, granddads, and grandsons together and make it a day to remember, just for the boys at Cherokee Home for Children. See you there, and man up.
There at Cherokee Home, because it's a sign that our kids have really made progress. And in many of these families, these kids have wondered all along if they would ever reach that point. And some of them even tell us, I'm the first child in our family, the first person in our family to graduate from high school. And so it is really a big deal for us at Cherokee Home. And just wanted to share with you a little bit about our graduates this past year, these three young people. Some of you might recognize the name Ball. Robert Ball was a youth minister here some years ago, and his daughter, he's been our spiritual life minister now for about 14 years out at Cherokee Home. But his daughter basically grew up out there, and you can see here her accomplishments listed and how well she did, and is now at San Angelo State University. But some of her classmates were Eric Miller, who also was in the Honor Society in UIL Academics, Athletics, and was working part-time during his senior year, and is also now at San Angelo State University. And then Raylyn West, again, did very well in high school and athletics and was working part-time and is down in Houston at Texas Southern University. So it's not every year that we have this many graduates who make it to college, okay? So we're very excited about that. We're excited about the fact that we see in these three particular graduates the potential to finish. Sometimes we have big doubts about that. So many of them will start college and won't finish. And there are a lot of reasons for that, having to do with their background, their upbringing, and their experiences and so forth. But we're very hopeful about these three. And one thing now that's important about our work at Cherokee Home that we've been able to improve on and be more focused on is our ability to stay connected to these college students throughout their college career. And so we have funds now that are available for even the staff to go and visit these kids while they're in college occasionally. And we're just in general making a more concerted effort to keep that line of communication open to work with them through the difficulties and challenges of their college life. Two of our wanted to say a little bit about our graduating seniors the year before, especially this young lady, Nishimwe, who placed third in state UIL pros and did very, very well her last 2 years in high school at Cherokee Home. Her background is a very, very interesting story. I wish, she were here to tell you all about it, but what I can tell you is that she spent the first, I think it's 8 or 9 years of her childhood in a refugee camp in Tanzania. And she can talk about her mom moving her and her siblings around to avoid the ravages of the wars going on in that area during that time and all the stress that they were under. Well, they made their way, obviously, to the United States as a family some years later, but then again, turmoil beset their family in different ways, and her and her siblings ended up at Cherokee Home. They left all at one time, 1 year, but for particular reasons, Nishimwe was able to come back for her junior and senior year, and she just bloomed during those 2 years and really excelled to the point where she got offers from major universities and is now at Texas Tech University. She came back after her first year at Texas Tech to visit us during Cherokee Day this last May, and reported to us about how great things were going. Her grades were good. She's involved in church and in other organizations and, quote, having the time of her life. And you're going to see her in a little moment in the video that we have. But hers is really an amazing story. Another amazing story is this young lady who was discovered in the shell of a house behind a residence in Burnett, Texas. Sometimes not having enough running water or no electricity at times, and would even have to take a bath in a horse trough. And she lived only with her mom, who was very unstable emotionally, who always was very negative, a negative person, and always talking down at Krista and telling her she would never amount to anything. But she did. She graduated salutatorian in 2008 down at Cherokee, got scholarships and financial aid enough to make it to Harding University, okay? And just this past May, she walked across the stage at Harding University, not with just one degree, but with two, a master's in business administration, okay? So, what a story to come from such a background and then to go through Harding and come out with 2 degrees, and now she has a job in the Metroplex. And so this is just an example of what can happen and what does happen when these kids are given the opportunity and the environment where they can flourish and where they can reach their potential and where they can get the guidance that they so desperately need. So we always brag about Krista and her story. Some kids have never been out of the town where they were born. And yet at Cherokee Home, we are fortunate to give them all kinds of opportunity to go on vacations with their house parents and see things they've never seen before. And then here's Krista, who went to Harding, went through the study abroad program at Harding, and look where she's standing in this picture. Got to see, I don't know about you, but I've never been at the base of the Eiffel Tower, right? And so, again, such a testament to what can happen whenever we put these kids in an environment where they can reach their potential. All of that is great. And as I said, though, our primary goal is their spiritual needs. We have to meet the basic needs first before the spiritual needs, of course, can really be accepted by them and before they'll really be open to those spiritual needs. But that's always in our background. So we are a mission. We consider ourselves a mission to save souls and to save families through helping these children. And we want these kids to make sure they have an opportunity to learn about God and to develop that personal faith in Jesus Christ. And we do this with devotionals in the cottage, in the mornings, campus devotionals on Wednesdays, and Bible classes, and then interaction with the area youth groups that they are connected with in the area churches. And I say churches because we don't require all of the campus to attend the small Church of Christ right there in Cherokee. Each cottage has the opportunity to go to any of the surrounding towns and place membership with the local Church of Christ in that town or that city. And so there are many of those within an hour's drive or less, most of them about 15 to 30 minutes, and they can do that. And so they can place their membership there as more as a typical normal family would and be incorporated into the life of the local church as best as possible. We even have mission trips occasionally. We had the opportunity to take kids to the Philippines, if you can imagine that, in 2019. My wife is from the Philippines. We did mission work there many years. So we were familiar with the country and everything there, and so we worked it out with God's blessing to take some kids and staff to the Philippines in 2019. And that was a grand experience. Even preparing for the trip was a huge learning experience for our kids. Learned about international foods and what to expect when you go to a foreign country and have to eat things like chicken feet or whatever. It was a real growing experience and eye-opening experience for our kids. We worked with some children's ministries and with a street ministry there that were run by missionaries and Churches of Christ. We did handing out of literature. We did VBS type activities in the gym. The kids connected very well with those children over there, even though there was a slight language barrier, but not a lot. Filipinos learn English in school, and so and then kids have ways to connect. I think you know what I'm talking about. But our kids saw that even though they are Cherokee Home kids, there's a world out there of children and young people that are far less provided for than they are. And so they found themselves on the giving end instead of always being on the receiving end. And so that was a real privilege for them and an eye-opening experience to know that they, even though they are Cherokee Home kids, that they could still offer something for others. So a great experience in 2019. And we have now about just enough time for this video, and so I think this will cap off our report very, very well. This was just recently completed. A couple of members of the church in Abilene, Texas have a production company called Ripple of Light, and their goal is to produce top-notch media for ministries in the church. And we were able to work with them over the past year to have this new documentary produced. So this is Cherokee Home.
Go to a hotel or something, please?
We don't have the money, baby. It's just a fight. It'll blow over by tomorrow, okay? You can go back to sleep. You'll be fine.
Where you at, woman? I wasn't done talking. You're here with these useless kids?
Please stop.
Is that right?
I was scared. I was just scared to go into the dark. Now I'm scared of the dark. In that moment, I felt like I had to just grow up and, I don't know, find help. And so I went to the door. So when he answered the door, and he was mad at first, obviously I was scared, but then whenever I could explain what was going on with my mom and brother, and he understood what I was saying, and he gave me the phone. It was like a sigh of relief. Even though that was the worst time of my life, through God and through people coming alongside me, I found my way to Cherokee Home for Children.
Cherokee Home is stability.
Cherokee Home is a blessing.
Cherokee Home is family.
Cherokee Home is a great place for a lot of kids, and it'll help you change.
Cherokee Home is a wonderful place to be and a great place to have fun and a great place to spend time with family.
Cherokee Home for Children is really, really fun. It's the great place. It's the place that helps everyone in.
Cherokee Home is a life changer for me. Cherokee Home literally changed the trajectory of my life.
Cherokee Home is a really good place for like kids that have family issues. I mean, really any issues at all to go to. The place is like really caring.
Cherokee Home is a wonderful place. A place where you know you can trust your babies to be. You know that they're gonna get what they need. You know they're gonna get their love that they need. Cherokee Home, I can't. My gratitude is just, I can't. There's too much. Single mom, trying to do her best, became homeless. It was the best thing for my kids. They had a roof over their head. They had love. Not that I couldn't give them love, but I provided things for them that I could not.
I know I have always been drawn to helping kids. From the time I was working at concession stands at Pee Wee baseball fields when I was in high school, I was a teacher before coming here, and all the kids that I met in my classroom, I wanted to bring home with me because they just needed structure and consistency. And I couldn't speak God in my classroom, but I could show God in my classroom. And then we got the opportunity to come to Cherokee Home as house parents, and I got to live my faith with young people every day. And I got to love on kids that didn't want to be loved on. I forced my love on them because God called us to this ministry and has pulled my heart in the direction of helping kids my entire life.
Cherokee Home did for me, personally, was give me a direction for my life. I think a lot of people know that a lot of children in foster care in the whole nation just don't make it. They struggle a lot. They don't achieve the things they want in their life. They don't break the cycles that they were born into. Cherokee Home has been my rock. I went to college. I got married. I got advanced degrees. I'm stable because not only the support that I received while I was here, but even when I left, people still continued to be invested in my life, and that was so incredibly important.
Honestly, I want to thank a lot of my changes in behaviors to the devos that we used to do. Those infinite teachings about your worth and what your worth is in Christ Jesus and how you're fearfully and wonderfully made, because that was nothing that was ever explained to me. So after, honestly, I would pick it up and I would just eat it. And it wasn't until I went back home that I digested it and it started impacting me. But I also started seeing a family where the husband wasn't manipulative, where the husband wasn't controlling and abusive. And that also changed my perspective on my own life, because I literally thought I thought everybody went through this when they were at home. I didn't know that there was a life where people could go home and it was peaceful. So I think the way that it affected my attitude, it was just it gave me the hopes that one day I could experience an inner peace with myself and how I viewed my own life.
You know, when I think of the word and how it applies to what I do, and I think of Jesus saying, hey, come, let these children come to me, and don't hinder that. I think that's what we're about. Daily here at the home, we just have the opportunity to be the physical hands and feet of Jesus Christ. The just the beautiful part of this story for me is that this home saved my life. If it wouldn't have been for this home and a good set of Christian parents that chose to adopt and take a chance on a little guy like me, I wouldn't be here today. And so there's thousands of stories of people like me that didn't have people stepping up for the love of Christ and giving opportunity, but that's what we get to do here.
One of the first boys we met when we moved into the cottage as relief house parents was on the porch, and he was refusing to help us move in our belongings because he had really liked the house parents who had been here before, and he was not good with change. This child ended up leaving and coming back, and he actually lived in our home, and we ended up adopting him. And so he was the child that I did not birth and didn't know I needed, and he completed our family. And he's made me a grandmother, and he finished college, and everything that we have asked of him, he has done because he saw that we loved him no matter what.
And while I was here, I owe a lot of thanks to Jack and Donna and their daughter Jackie. They felt like, I felt like they were more family than they were workers out here. Everywhere Jack went, I wanted to go with him, no matter if it was to a football game, basketball game. I do remember one time him calling me into his office when I was a senior in high school, and he told me I wasn't college material, but he was using his police tactics on me to see if I was going to respond to that. And sure enough, it didn't take me but about 10 seconds, and I told him, well, I'll prove you wrong. And that's the answer he wanted to hear from me. Before I knew it, I was in college. Without them, I just wouldn't see life what it is today. It means the world to me.
You realize that I'm 85 and do have Parkinson's. A lot of my recall literally is difficult. But I know one thing, right here at this home, I didn't even know if I could sit here and speak like this from the hugs and the love that I experienced as I stepped on this campus. And it's important to me, not so much what I gave, but what I got from those young people. God bless you all. Thank you for your concern.
My hope for the future for Cherokee Home is just to continue their great mission, taking kids out of bad situations, showing them that there's hope, teaching them good work ethic, how to have a relationship with God, how to go into the world, breaking cycles, making their own way, and being happy.
My hope for Cherokee Home is that they still continue to put, God first, or have that faith aspect.
I would like them to continue to accept all the kids that need help, like all different kids that need help, different ages, help them the way they helped me. So when they get older and they look back like, oh, that really was my family. They really helped me grow and become the person who I am.
I just wanted to say a big thank you to everyone who has put in their time and effort to help Cherokee Home for Children, and I mean, this place wouldn't be here without y'all, and I'm really grateful myself because it's going to help me in my future. And I just wanted to say thank you.
This place has just done a number on me, and I know that it's behind every dollar, and that's my why. Like, thank you so, so much for literally changing my life and allowing this place to run so it can touch me and have an effect on me.
Thank you to everybody that made our lives better. Thank you to everybody that does everything for all these children. There's not enough gratitude and not enough people like you guys in the world. Thank you so much.
You know, I was in Lakeshore Church of Christ in Waco, and I remember early on looking at this spreadsheet. It was an old spreadsheet from the 70s. And I looked on it because it had my sister's name on it and 3 other sisters. And so I looked at it and I brought it up and I was like, oh my goodness, there's my name. And the contributor, and I read it off, and there in the audience was the contributor. And may not seem like much, but just little things are really big things in the eyes of God. And when we make that effort, that changes life.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you've been enlightened about the work at Cherokee Home, and be happy to entertain questions after we are dismissed or in between our changeover time between classes and the worship period. Thank you so much for your attention this morning.